And we continue. Boost the Cuse rolls on live. Hello, Syracuse Orange, far and wide. Scott Hansen here at 10:44 a.m. as we roll on with this extravaganza celebrating all things orange on a day of generosity. You are giving. The total board is cranking up. We're going to show you those dollar totals coming in. Please think about being generous towards this great university that helped shape and mold so many of our lives and our formative years all the way into my 50s, some folks even older than that watching right now and beyond. We will have in this segment at 10:44 a.m. the Mike Tirico portion of the show. I'm excited for that. I know you are as well. Stick around. That'll be in just a few minutes. First up in this segment, we want to spend some time with Syracuse University's Chief Academic Officer. And for that, we go over to one of the wonderful women that helped put together the entire Boost the Cuse broadcast as you see it and enjoy it right now. She is Kim Infante from the Office of Alumni Engagement. Kim, take it away.
Well, Scott, thank you so much. I am here with a woman who needs no introduction on this campus. She is Vice Chancellor and Provost Gretchen Ritter. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So Provost Ritter, the plan is to finalize the academic strategic plan next month. This has been something you've been working on for so long. How important was it for you personally to include every member, truly, of this campus community in the planning process?
It's been enormously important, and we've included faculty, we've included staff, we've included our undergraduates and our graduate students. We've included and gotten great feedback from alumni, from donors, from the Board of Trustees. And it's important to include all the members of the Orange community because they're passionate about who we are, because they really have helped us to develop a plan that speaks to what everyone is proud of about Syracuse and that points us to the future. So I'm grateful for the level of participation we've had.
Awesome. So when you first started here at Syracuse University, you said your biggest priority was to get to know this community, to know Syracuse like the back of your hand. Now that you've been on the job a year and a half, what is it that's so special about Syracuse, in your opinion?
Well, I don't want this to sound corny, but honestly, it's the people and the culture. I incredibly appreciate the fact that this is a place where people are creative, they're entrepreneurial, and they're kind of publicly oriented. They're really committed to making a positive difference in the world. And I have never been at a university where I have felt as proud of the community as I do here at Syracuse.
I love that. I love that. I'm sure our audience loves hearing that as well. Of course, Boost the Cuse today is all about elevating Syracuse, showcasing the best of Syracuse University. How critical is philanthropy when it comes to research, especially at an R1 research institution, which Syracuse University is?
All of our donors make us better. They make such a difference. They help us to recruit and support outstanding students. They help us to recruit, support, and retain cutting-edge faculty members who are making an enormous difference in science, in the arts, and in a wide variety of fields. They help us to develop the labs and the facilities that we need to do this kind of extraordinary work. You know, I was fortunate enough to go to college on a scholarship, and it was a transformative experience in my life. So I would ask all of our alumni, all of our supporters, if Syracuse made a difference for you, please help to make sure we can continue to make that difference going forward. And I also just want to say thank you to the incredible alumni and supporters we have of the university.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being with us this morning. Provost Gretchen Ritter, thank you for helping us to boost the Cuse this incredible day for Syracuse.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Provost Ritter. All right, ladies and gentlemen, special treat for us right now on Boost the Cuse. I wanted to welcome our next guest with maybe a chorus of John Williams' Olympic fanfare, or perhaps some amalgamation of Joan Jetts and Carrie Underwood's and Faith Hill's Waiting All Day for Sunday Night. But they tell me that we're trying to raise money for Syracuse, not spend the entire budget on ASCAP music fees. So instead, we will just welcome him right here to the Dick Clark Studios, a man you know and love. He's on your living room televisions when a major sporting event is on. One of the best of us here. Syracuse University graduate, trustee, and sportscaster extraordinaire, Mike Tirico. Mike, how are you? Good to see you. Where do the life and times of Mike Tirico find us today?
Yeah, getting away from the cold weather for a little bit, getting ready for busy spring with the Masters and the Kentucky Derby, 8,500, all that good stuff. But thank you for what you're doing today, Scott. This has been fun to watch already. 44 after the hour for 16 straight hours, only hour 3, so pace yourself. It's twice as long as your normal days on NFL Red Zone. But I love this. This is bringing our community together as we celebrate another birthday for Syracuse and celebrate some of the remarkable things that are happening on campus. And I think this is a great chance for so many people to hear about the great things beyond athletics. The athletics we hear about all the time.
Yes.
But this is a great chance to hear about so much other stuff as well.
100%, and there's more to come, Mike. I don't know if you've seen the entire program, but just stick with us for as much as you can stay. 44 minutes after the hour, dip in. There are some amazing Syracuse stories that will be told here on this day-long, 16-hour broadcast. But look, you and I are sports guys. We're part of the Newhouse family, let's just say.
You got it.
I don't like that term. I got a list here. I'm going to read the names. You know them all, but I still marvel at it when I think about it. Bob Costas, Dick Stockton, Marv Albert, Marty Glickman, Len Berman, yourself, Sean McDonough, Ian Eagle, his son Noah, Adam Shine, Bill Roth, Andrew Siciliano, Hank Greenwald, Andrew Catalan, Jason Benetti, Beth Mowens, Dave O'Brien, Adam Zucker, and our guy Dave Pash. And at the risk of naming some, you leave out others, but that's just a list of some of the great on-camera and on-microphone Syracuse grads. That doesn't even include all of the tremendous professionals behind the scenes, producers, directors, technical folks. Mike, it's fair to say Syracuse University has impacted, entertained, and served hundreds of millions, if not billions, of sports fans through the decades. It's a huge point of pride for me, and I know it is for you as well.
It is. I never thought of it that way. And Scott, you're right in so many ways. And you mentioned the people behind the scenes as well. So many great producers, directors, associate producers, executives in the industry. Our athletic director now, John Wildhack, we're so lucky to have him as our athletic director. He spent so much time at ESPN as one of the great executives there. And Sunday Night Football and the NFL draft, when it began on ESPN, John was a huge part of all those endeavors as well. So many people across different scopes of not just sports media, but the general media as well, news, entertainment, and all of that. But the sports program is near and dear to our heart. What I love is on a Sunday afternoon of NFL football, you and Andrew Siciliano for the last many years on 2 separate channels have been doing this unbelievable revolutionary Red Zone broadcast, bringing everyone every game almost all at once, both Syracuse alums, no matter which provider you had to watch Red Zone. And then I get to do a game. We've had weekends where Ian Eagle, Noah Eagle, Andrew Catalan, Beth Mowens are all working for CBS or Fox. I'm doing a game. I think there was a week last year where we had 4 of the 16 NFL games. 4 of them were called on TV by Syracuse alums.
So awesome.
Let alone the 5 local radio broadcasts with Syracuse alums like Greg Papa and Dan Horde, who you mentioned, Nish Sharoff, Jason Horowitz as well. So we love what Syracuse has represented. And the joy of it that maybe people don't see is we all stay connected. We all are in touch with each other, root for each other from afar. There's a WAER Sports from our generation group chat that is going on and around. And we had Andrew Catalan jump into the group chat this past week after he had a great call in the NCAA tournament.
He sure did.
And that's the spirit of Syracuse.
Yeah.
you are one of us, SU, you just flip it around, you are one of us, right? So everybody stays connected, and you can go years or not even be from the same time on campus. You're still part of the same family. That's what I love about our sports broadcasters, our Newhouse alums, but all of our alums across. My wife played women's basketball. That group is so connected by Felicia Leggett-Jack coming back on campus, 20-win season in the Sweet 16 of the women's NIT. If you're in the New York area, they play at Columbia on Friday. Turn Columbia's place orange and blue and get Syracuse to continue on in that tournament.
Nice.
So we're so excited of all the connections we have as a university, and I love that we're able to celebrate them all together on a day like this.
Well, so well said, and not surprisingly so coming from you. But today is also a call to action. It is a call to our fellow alums to say, if this place impacted you as it did me as a man and as a broadcaster, and I know you would say the same thing, let's pay it forward. Let's invest in this generation and the generations to come to keep Syracuse one of the premier institutions of higher learning in the United States and therefore in the world. Can you speak to the folks right now? The people are watching all around the country and all around the world too. We've heard from people in Asia, I believe Europe as well, probably South America, up in Canada as well. Just speak to those folks as one of the faces of Syracuse and how we can make a difference today, this day.
I love the opportunity to, Scott. You mentioned Florence is the headquarters for our SU abroad program, and semester abroad is a big part of a lot of students' experience as well. So I know we have alums who not only have come from other countries to boost our international flavor on campus for their 4 years, but a lot of us, I didn't get the chance to, but a lot of us in our time at Syracuse went abroad as well. Look, I love being a part of that group that you just mentioned with the other Syracuse alums who are TV sports announcers and radio sportscasters, men and women. But I've been honored and touched the last 5 years to have the chance to be a part of the board of trustees and get to see what this university does for people, how it changes lives. You had Mike Haney on earlier. Mike Haney, the vice chancellor, and Chancellor Syverud had unbelievable fortitude to keep our university open during COVID. And it made a difference. We were held up in very high regard by a lot of institutions around the country because of the work that people on our campus did to make sure that the student experience continues to grow. I was on a call yesterday. We have meetings throughout the year. Everyone wants to make sure that the student experience at Syracuse continues to be as good as it possibly can be, and that doesn't happen without support of our alums and our friends too. It's not just alumni, but it's our friends as well. So if you have been touched by Syracuse, whether it's going to the JMA Wireless Dome to root for a team, you were a part of a team, your son or daughter has gone to Syracuse, whatever it might be, if you've been connected to the university, what a great day to say thank you, however you can, however generous you can be in your world. And we know times are not easy, but it's important to make sure that Syracuse remains the place where the next generation can write their Syracuse story, because we all have them. We all love sharing them. A lot of us say, I don't know if I'd get into the school today. That's okay. There are places at Syracuse for everyone, and we want it to continue to be that way. And the only way that happens and our university remains this really unique and special subset of higher education is if you find it in your heart to give to the university, support us wherever you can in what you love. You're a Newhouse alum, donate Newhouse. You're an athletics alum, go over there and donate. Liberal arts, political science. I'm a proud Maxwell alum. My wife's a Whitman alum. Whatever it is that calls you, call and share and say thank you and pay it forward to the next generation of Syracuse alums. So look, we all know that if there's an Orange alum somewhere in your neck of the woods, it's a better place. So let's make sure that the world continues to be a better place by spreading our Syracuse love across the country.
I love it. I love it. Mike, I got one last chance here to ask you a Syracuse-related question. You and I are talking at a time in Syracuse history that really is unprecedented, especially from the world of sports. Jim Boeheim coached his final game, one of the on the Mount Rushmore of Syracuse humans.
Yes, correct.
Can you encapsulate what he has meant to this university? And he still says he's going to be a party, and thankfully so. And he says Syracuse will always be home for him. But what this man and his almost half a century involved has meant to Syracuse University?
Very simple, Scott. No individual has done more for a city than Jim Boeheim has done for Syracuse. You can say some have done as much, yes, of course, but think about it. Think about the 60 years spent. Think about the investment in the community that Jim and Julie have made philanthropically over all that time. Think about the attention Syracuse basketball has drawn internationally, all because Jim Boeheim stayed here, built this program up, and has really made it recognizable. People know the Dome everywhere. It's one of the most unique settings. People have said, wow, 30,000 people for a basketball game? That doesn't happen anywhere in the world except on our campus. That would have never happened if not for Jim Boeheim's ability to recruit players, coach them, have a style that the fans and the players love. And as he said at his farewell press conference when Adrian Autry was named the head coach, and we're so excited to keep it in the family and have Red leading the next generation of the Orange basketball team, Jim said, these people have come out in 10, 15, 20 below wind chill inches, feet of snow, and still come to a basketball game. It's all because of what Jim built. So from a sports perspective, no one has ever done more for one city in the sports world than Jim has done for Syracuse. I think we're all thrilled that he is going to stay around and be a part of helping the next generation of Syracuse basketball and Syracuse University students continue to enjoy the great times that so many of us have had along the way.
Perfectly said. And if Coach Boeheim's watching, Coach, we love you. On behalf of the university, you know that. And if Coach Boeheim's friends are watching and could get him that message from Mike and myself, would certainly appreciate that. Mike, look, it's a day of giving. Very few have given as much as you have, sir, in terms of your talent and your treasure, and today, your time. We thank you for joining Boost the Cuse. Go Orange, my man. As a fellow sportscaster, I told you this at the Super Bowl a couple years ago. You're the best of us, buddy. You're the best of us. I'm proud to be a fellow Syracuse alum with you.
Proud to share it with you, Scott, and with everybody else. Have a great day. I will be with you all the way through midnight tonight. I know Pete Sala's set up for the 11:44 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Eastern time. I'm going to be with you guys every hour on the hour. Keep cranking. And folks, please be generous and donate. And let's all stay forever orange.
The singular Mike Tirico on Boost the Cuse 2023. Thank you, Mike.
Being orange is more than just being a student here or an alumni here at Syracuse University. It really means being part of a family.
The moment I stepped on campus, I immediately felt that sense of community and energy.
Syracuse University has not only given me the education inside the classroom, but the experiential learning to prepare me to excel in any single avenue I choose to pursue.
I tell everyone that, if you want to succeed, all you have to do is tell your professors what you want and they'll help you get there.
There's a lot of well-trained professionals that are teaching these courses. They help you to grow to be the best you can be.
The majority of the classes that I've taken are very personal, small class sizes where I can achieve more and ask more questions.
The faculty have mentored me and really pushed me to reach my fullest potential.
It's really nice to be able to get the tools to success and the tools to develop your own strategies that you could end up using for the rest of your life.
Syracuse University has facilitated all these different networking and professional workshopping opportunities.
They have a lot of internships and clubs that I could also be a part of that help me expand my perspective.
I grew up from a really, really small town, so Syracuse really taught me a lot about inclusivity, and it's just been a really great place for me to learn and become a better person.
Since my time at Syracuse, I think I've become much more outgoing. I've met a lot of very close friends that I think I will carry for my life.
I feel like a confident young professional who is ready to bring something to the table.
There are so many paths that I could take in the future, and I know that Syracuse University will prepare me to thrive in that sense.
For me, being Orange means being a part of something bigger than yourself and being part of a group of people that want to make a change.
A great friend of mine once said, it's either you went to Syracuse or you didn't.
Boost the Cuse Live. I'm Chris Velarde from the Office of Alumni Engagement. Now, unlike NFL Red Zone, we're actually going to let Scott Hanson take a few breaks over the course of the day. I mean, 16 hours is a lot. Here with Professor Shukai Chin, we will hear from him in just a moment, but right now we want to hear from a barrier-breaking Syracuse University alumna, Catherine Switzer. She made history when she became the first woman to officially compete in the Boston Marathon. Despite the efforts of race organizers, she fearlessly finished that race, and she never stopped running or advocating for female athletes.
I had chosen Syracuse University after being at a small college in Virginia for 2 years. I wanted to be a sports writer. And so I thought, if I could get a passport from Syracuse University, I would really have a head and shoulders chance to be a sports writer, which was a very unusual thing for a girl to want to do. When I walked on campus in 1966, there were something like 25 sports for men, all scholarship deep, nothing for women. We had a play day. Still, I screwed up my courage and I went into the office of the track coach. His name was Bob Grieve, and I asked him if I couldn't run on the men's cross country team. And he said, no, it's against NCAA rules, but we would welcome you if you wanted to come out and train with the team. I said, well, coach, that's good enough for me. And as I left his office, I pulled the door shut. But just before it closed, I heard him burst out laughing to his colleagues and say, I guess I got rid of that one. And so then you have a decision to make. And the decision to make, and I always say this, is show up. And I screwed up my courage again, and I went out on that cross-country course the next day and showed up. He was very surprised. But you know, the most amazing thing happened. I was so nervous because it was the eve of the women's liberation movement. And I thought all these guys would think, you know, I'm there to be in their face. Instead, they came over to me and they said, we've never had a girl before. This is great. Thanks for showing up. You're really wonderful. That's great. You know, anything we can do to help you, you're part of the team. But one guy in particular was a little guy by the name of Arnie Briggs. And he wasn't an official coach. He was just a manager helping Bob Grieve out. And he was the university mailman. He took me under his wing. He jogged me around the course every day and then would tell me stories about the Boston Marathon. And one day he was telling me another Boston Marathon story. And I was really cross with him. And I said, let's quit talking about the darn marathon and run it. And he said, a woman can't possibly run the Boston Marathon. We argued, and finally he said, look, I'll tell you what, if you show me in practice that you can run the Boston Marathon, if you can run 26 miles, 385 yards, I'd be the first person to take you to Boston. And I said, you are on. And we trained and trained and trained. And the day came when we ran 26 miles. During the last mile, Arnie said, you look fabulous. And I said, I feel fabulous. In fact, too fabulous. I think this course is short and we should continue running for another 5 miles. And he said, you can run another 5 miles? And I said, sure, can't you? And he said, oh, yeah. Anyway, we did. I pushed him through. I said, come on, we can do this. And the last mile, Arnie began to really lose it on the course. You know, his eyes went back in his head and he turned gray. And when we finished our 31-mile workout, I threw my arms around him and I said, we did it, we're going to Boston. And he passed out. But that was my passport to Boston. And it happened really on the golf course out at Drumlin's with the cross-country team. So I will be forever grateful for being told, you know, I guess I got rid of that one, to showing up, to actually getting ready for the Boston Marathon. And yes, when I signed up for the Boston Marathon, because Arnie insisted I sign up for it, I was given that famous number. There's the old bib, all beat up, 261. And it's come to mean fearless in the face of adversity now. And in fact, I've started a nonprofit that's reaching thousands of women around the world called 261 Fearless. I think it's incredibly important for us to give back to Syracuse University, or really to any person or group that has helped you. But also, if you can't do it directly to that institution or person, pass it on. My dad always said to me, you can't always say thank you to the people that helped you, but you can pass it on. You look at the passport that I got from Syracuse. I call my diploma a passport. And it has taken me to so many places and it has been my greatest credential.
What a story Catherine Switzer gives us. And our next guest epitomizes what it means to be forever orange. Shukai Chin came to Syracuse University in the early 1970s, and it would be the start of a lifelong connection. He earned a bachelor's degree in 1975, a master's in 1978, his PhD in 1986, and he's been on the faculty of the College of Engineering and Computer Science for more than 35 years. Syracuse University's been part of your life for a very long time.
It has.
And what does it mean to you to be a part of Syracuse?
You know, Chris, in a word, it's home. And, you know, if you think of all the connotations of home, you know, I came here as a very young 18-year-old from Manhattan, and, you know, I got my education here. Syracuse was with me to basically be with me at my first job, where as a chip designer, of all things, at General Electric. And then, of course, I came back as a faculty member 11 years later. But it's also been with me when I was at the Air Force Research Lab as a research scientist in cybersecurity, and out in the community, you know, with organizations like WCNY, our public broadcasting station, the Air Force Research Lab as well, and the Syracuse Airport Authority.
One of the things that you have said is that Syracuse took a chance on you. And that's a powerful thing that we hear from a lot of alumni. What chance was that?
Okay, so I'll tell you a short story, but it is absolutely true. It is, you know, go back to 1971, my first week on campus before classes started, and I'm a computer engineering student, and I walk into the brand new Link Hall. And there's a computer cluster, and I walk in and I said, this is where I'm going to be. I want to learn how to use things. So I sit down at the terminal, and the first thing it asks me for is a user ID and password. And I remember thinking, well, I don't have those. So I go out in the hall, and I bump into this very distinguished-looking professor, you know, three-piece suit, you know, he's tall. And I said, excuse me, sir, could you help me? I don't have a user ID and password. So he steps back, and he looks me up and down. And I go, and he walks me back in. And then he does something remarkable. He types in his own user ID and password, sits me down, wishes me well, and leaves.
Wow.
And you know, in that story is just wrapped up so much, right? Because first of all, by doing that, he welcomed me to the university and made me feel like I belonged. And that was the first time I felt I belonged in an educational institution.
It's a good lead-in, too, to my next question, because as somebody who now deals with cybersecurity, I'm guessing that's not a great idea to give people your user ID and passwords.
No, it's not. And it's a really powerful story, though. But I will tell you something about, so anyway, go ahead.
Well, so what advice would you give us? Give us a little bit of takeaway on this.
Sure.
Teach us.
Sure. Well, at the individual level, yes, do not give away your user ID and password. But here we are 50 years later. And, you know, so as an individual, I would say, look, there are a lot of systems and people to support us. Yeah. Make sure you use them and you follow their advice. Now, as institutions, I want to take us back to almost 3 years to the day. And you remember that day was March 13th, Friday the 13th, 2020.
Hard to forget that day.
Right. And we all left not knowing what would happen. And we began what's known as pandemic teaching. And the bottom line, as an institution, if you want to learn how to do things right, look at Syracuse University as a case study. Why did we succeed? We succeeded because we had a mission-first attitude, academic mission first, but student always attitude. And we focused on what was critical to deliver the kind of educational outcomes and student experiences in the most adverse circumstances.
And we just heard Mike Tirico talk about that as well. Final thing, this day, Boost the Cuse, is all about supporting Syracuse University, about giving back. As an alum, as a member of the faculty, what does that mean to you?
Well, none of us would be here without people who help us. Many people we don't even know decide to help us. And, you know, I think that's just paying it forward. And you know, that little story about me 50 years ago, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for people like that. Yeah. And that's what we pay forward.
You don't forget those little moments and those people.
Not at all. And it just shows that little moment can help set a direction for life.
Fantastic. Professor Shukai Chin, thank you for being part of Boost the Cuse. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Chris.
All right, time for another of our updates, because one of our goals during Boost the Cuse is to turn the country and the world orange. So how do we do that? by encouraging people to participate in Syracuse University's Day of Giving from every state and every country. How are we doing? Let's check in with Maddie Mustin. She's a grad student. She is here at the board with an update. Maddie.
Thanks, Chris, and thank you to everyone for watching and donating. It really means a lot to Syracuse University. Coming from a family of SU alums, my grandma and my aunt who went here, also my grandpa who played basketball and baseball for the university, Syracuse means so much to me and the entire alumni community, and it shows. So let's take a little update, look at the map, some leaderboards, and then we have a couple challenges for you guys watching at home. If you go to the website here, you're looking at it now, you can hit this button, Give Now. That's where you do all of your donations. You can see an update. We have 29% of our total donations in, and you can scroll down and have some of the Make a Gift. You can look at all the broadcast schedule if you want to tune in, maybe take a lunch break, see who you're going to tune into next. That broadcast schedule is there. There's also event challenges and leaderboards. So let's take a look at that leaderboard there. This is where we have the entire country, and Chris talked about making the country orange. Majority of that has happened, but we still have a couple of states that we don't have any donations from. So we're looking at Idaho, we're looking at Montana. If you're there, if you're watching now, please make a donation, and you can also share that donation, share a social media update with the hashtag BoostCuse. That will have all of the donations, and also you can see that on our social media. And then if you scroll down, you can also check in and see all over the entire world where people are making donations from. And if you scroll all the way down, you can click on there. Keep on going. You can, if you're a competitive person like I am, maybe it'll incline you to donate. You can look at all of the primary relationships, a lot of alumni donating, but also a really interesting part. A lot of students are donating, which I think is great. They show the love for their community, their school. Top class of 2023. That's my grad class. Congratulations, guys. We're at the top of the leaderboard. Keep it up. Other classes, keep on donating, get those donations up. For the students that are here on campus, if you're in Shine or around campus, head over to that Shine Student Center for that 360 photo booth. Really cool, one of those things where you stand in the middle and the camera turns around you. I was there before this, and it's gonna be great. Might head back there and hype everyone up while they're doing it. So that's all for the 1044 update. I'll be back here with the 1244 hour update. But for now, let's hear from another one of our cool SU alums.
Hi, my name is Melissa Shakin. I graduated from Syracuse University with the class of 2005. Go Orange! I loved my time at Syracuse University. My career is all thanks to all of the wonderful classes I was able to take and the incredible people I met. Boost the Cuse!